Thank you for viewing this Content on Demand demonstration. Before we get into the actual product, why consider Content on Demand? Many of you may know very little about us. What is it that sets Content on Demand apart from its competition? Well, simply put, we provide a better way of learning for students. As an example, for each topic that we cover, we have 3 different kinds of lessons. Students can choose a type of lesson that best suits their learning style. We're also extremely easy to use, as we'll see in a minute. As part of being easy to use, we're built inside the leading platforms: Blackboard, Angel, Moodle, WebCT, eCollege, or we can host for you. Why is this easy? Because we deliver the content directly to your school's server. This allows students to access your course materials in the same manner they access any other courses that they're taking on campus. They don't need a new password. They don't have to follow a different procedure. They don't need to link to an off-site server. It's all right there. So from day one, students can concentrate on learning the mathematics, not on learning a new system. We have a strong emphasis on writing to solve problems. We have plenty of computer and algorithmic-based problems, but it's important for students to practice writing and solving problems. We have a new promotional pricing policy for new adopters, and we'll keep this in effect for you. In addition, any student who purchases an access code from us will find that it's good permanently. They'll never need to repurchase it should they leave the course and come back some other semester or year. We provide plenty of testing. Most of our courses have well over 200 pre-built tests and quizzes for you to choose from. In addition, there's a large test bank from which you can make your own tests and quizzes. And of course, it's easy to create your own test items. We provide excellent service, but you can also rely on your instructional technology people right on campus, as well as representatives from the various platform companies. So we'll go in and take a look. As you can see, this demonstration is based in or built in WebCT. We'll click on Chapter 3, and this chapter is led off, as are all chapters, by a pretest should you wish to assign it. And this is going to be a standard-looking WebCT-based test. Most of our test items are free response and multiple choice. But you can edit, you can delete, you can create your own test items, you can rearrange the question and the answer order, you can assign different values or assign different amounts of retries a student has to take the test or time limits. That's all up to you. Of course, when a student finishes the test, its results are put right directly into your gradebook on campus, keeping you in perfect compliance with FERPA regulations. You might have FERPA concerns should you use a competitor's product whose gradebook resides on an off-site or corporate server. We'll head back into the chapter and select the section we wish to study. I mentioned that each topic has 3 different lessons to support it. Here we see 2, but we'll see the 3rd in a minute. I also mentioned that we're extremely easy to use. As you can see, to navigate, all a student has to do is click Next. They read the introduction, move on to the next screen. Also making this easy is all the technology that is needed is embedded directly into the lesson. So a student simply clicks on it and plays it. And they can fast forward this animation, they can rewind it, pause it, whatever they want to do. And when they're ready, they move on to the next by clicking Next. Here we find a flashcard activity that might be useful for your face-to-face courses. Here you could show this up in front of the class and ask for a show of hands for someone to attempt the problem. Maybe ask them to go up to the blackboard, and when they've finished the problem, see if they're right. And then select another student, and so forth. You can also see how this would be very handy for distance learning as well as self-paced courses. On this page, we see an example of how we emphasize writing. A student simply answers the question using their scratch pad, which they should always have by their side, and then check themselves to see if they're right. Here's a more extended example of this. If a student needs a hint to get them started, they've got it. And then they can check themselves at each step along the way with a hint for the subsequent step. When they reach the answer, they can click Try Again to try the exact same problem, or try another to try one that's just like it. As you can see, we have plenty of types of questions for students to do. There's a second way a student can go through a lesson, and that's the Print the Lesson feature. Some students may prefer to read, or maybe they're not going to be near their computer for a few days. They can print out and take the lesson with them. As you can see, it's formatted to look like a textbook. When a student is finished with a lesson, they simply close it, and they'll be given a third option for studying the lesson, and that's a video presentation of the lesson. Here, there's a narrator covering the exact same lesson. She reads the first page and then paraphrases thereafter using a pencil to highlight, point at things, underline, solve problems in the margins, etc.
In this lesson, we'll examine some additional rules that govern the behavior of exponents. The rules should be memorized. They will be used often in the remaining chapters. These additional rules also follow from the definition of exponents given below. X to the nth is x times x times x dot 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 times x, where there's n of these. Rule 6. X to the
Of course, a student can pause this, rewind it, fast forward, whatever they need to do. We have an abundance of practice problems for students to do. Again, this emphasis is on writing to solve problems. Here is a simple PDF that students can print out or work problems on their scratch pad. Typically, each section has from 35 to 40 problems for students to do. Of course, we have answers. Now, you might choose to hide the answers should you be using us in a face-to-face course. You could use the practice problems as a homework assignment. You'll notice that where appropriate, we have detailed solutions, so you can actually consider this as a solutions manual as well. A student can also view a video of a work solution to the problem. Here, the same narrator.
Use the rules for exponents to simplify the following. Eliminate any negative exponents. The first rule we're going to use is Rule 3. And here it is.
Of course, a student can pause, fast forward, rewind this to help them any way they wish to go. Notice I clicked on closed captioning. This is an example how we're completely 508 compliant. So if you have students with disabilities, we can deliver the product in a manner that they need. We also have our random set of practice problems. These are our computer or algorithmic problems. In theory, a student can do as many problems as they'd like without ever seeing the same problem twice. Here, a student simply enters the answer in the little red box, finds what they need over here, and hopefully answer it more successfully than I have, and then check their answer. I'll get 3 tries before they move me on to another problem. But since I struggled, maybe I need a hint on how to solve this type of problem. Or maybe I want to work through it in a step-by-step fashion along with the computer. I also have the option of turning this into a self-quiz. And notice that the help buttons on the bottom go away. And I'll be given a 15-item quiz. And of course, I'll be given the results so I can see how I'm doing. Quizzes that will be delivered to your campus will show up in the quiz folder, but for our demonstration site, we've kept them right in with the chapter material. Here you can see each section has their quiz A. We have a quiz B and C that will show up in your control panel when the product is delivered to your server. So by way of review, we've noticed the 3 types of lessons that Content on Demand has. Hopefully you've noticed how easy we are to use. In this case, we use WebCT to show the product, but we're available in all these other platforms. We noticed the emphasis on writing, and I've mentioned our unique pricing policy. We have plenty of tests as you've seen, and we'll give you the very best service that we can. Thank you again for viewing this demonstration.